Hey guys, Andrew Michael here, and the first warning weather center. Today's date is July 13th, 2014, and I have now been at work. I took 2 breaks to run home, take a quick nap, but I have now been at work for 22 hours. It's been a long day. I'm hoping this is not the new norm. But anyway, thanks for swinging on by. Again, first warning, meteorologist Andrew Michael here.
Hey guys, Andrew Michael.
Whoa, let's turn that down. I had that over on the other thing. So again, for everyone just swinging by, thanks for stopping by. If you guys have any weather questions, you guys can post those or get those to me a couple different ways. My Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Andrew Michael ABC6Fox28. That's the longest way to do it. You can either comment on there, you'll see the video of the web chat. Or if you are on Twitter, easiest way and the fastest way to get any questions to me is on Twitter. Just tweet me at AndrewWSYX6, which you can see right there at the bottom. Or if you're watching this on the YouTube page, you can comment on there, and then the comments flow in, and then I can also post your question up on the video as we're getting those in. So it looks like we have a few people in here, so thanks to everyone for swinging on by. And let's go ahead and see what we have going on.
Michael, ABC6Fox28.
Turn this down a little bit. All right, so let's check the Facebook page to see if there's any questions coming in. All right, so let's see a few questions here. Hi, Andrew. Just curious about cicadas singing earlier than normal. Does that mean early frost? Earlier than normal fall? That's a good question from Jill. I actually have only heard cicadas, and it's probably different depending on where you are. I've actually only heard cicadas 1 or 2 days this year, so I don't think it's really that much earlier than normal. All right, so let's see here. So as far as that, I mean, I don't think cicadas, bugs are not going to determine whether we're going to see it earlier or later or whatnot. So hopefully that answers that, Jill, for you. All right, check out the Fox 28 page. I have quite a few questions on there. Britton George saying, what can you tell me about weather modification / manipulation and HAARP? My answer to that, I don't know anything about it. I don't believe that it actually happens. If you have any concrete evidence for that, pass it along my way. But so far I haven't heard anything, any concrete evidence to that, to the fact that that is truthful or not. Nicole C. Myers saying, is there any way to predict what this winter will be like? Meaning, will it be as cold as last year? This is crazy. We're getting questions about winter so much earlier. It's July. I think that so far I've been pretty accurate with the prediction for summer, saying that it was going to be a little wetter than normal because it has been, and it's actually been a pretty wet summer for us. Today may be an exception to the rule if you live in the northern part of the viewing area, but generally it's been a pretty wet summer so far for us, a lot of rain. As far as cold this winter, a lot of that has to do with the jet stream, and it kind of plays itself out a little bit better, and you can get a better idea once we head into fall. So as far as seeing what winter will be like now, it's really hard to say. So far this summer has been a little cooler than normal, and especially as we head into the week ahead, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, going to be much cooler than what it should be this time of the year. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to that. All right, Diane Huckle saying, does lightning always come with thunder? That's a good question. So Diane, the answer is yes and no. So you can see lightning and thunderstorms 70, 80 miles away. If that's the only thunderstorm way out there in the distance, you can see that thunderstorm, and you can see the clouds lighting up with it. Now, for the thunder, it's not going to be able to travel all of that distance because there's so much friction in the air. You're not going to be able to hear that thunder that far away. Normally, you can't really hear the thunder unless it's a good 10 miles or less. So there always is thunder when there is lightning, but you might not be able to hear it just based off of the distance that it is away from you. So that's a good question. Kevin N. Robin Crace. Did anyone see that double rainbow? I did not see that double rainbow. I'm checking the Facebook pages right now. Don't see any No, I did not see a double rainbow today. So if you took a photo of it, Kevin, post it on my Facebook page. Again, Andrew Michael, or if you want to type it in, facebook.com/Andrew Michael ABC6 Fox 28. I'm hoping to get a rainbow of downtown right now. The sun's getting lower. We've got to get the sun to light up downtown, but hopefully it'll happen here soon. Jessica saying, is the cool down this week going to last, or is it just tease us for a few days? Just tease us for a few days. We're back in the mid to upper 80s by next weekend, so a few days where it'll feel nice and cool, back in the low 70s. But it's going to heat up once again. I'm kind of looking forward to it because when we get really hot, my tomatoes really start to. I bought one of those topsy-turvies where it's like a big green bag and you plant it in there, and then they kind of all the plants go down instead of when you plant it in the ground. Then all the tomatoes, if you don't have them all fastened up, then you get the tomatoes to become a little kind of weird sometimes. So it looks like Blake left a question on YouTube saying hello, Andrew. Or I guess not a question, a comment. Hello, Blake. Thanks for swinging on by. So again, anybody that's just stopping here, you guys can leave your questions several ways. You can tweet those to me. Does this show the Google? So you guys can tweet those to me using AndrewWSYX6 on Twitter, or you can use hashtag OhioWX, and I will see all of those tweets. If you're on Facebook, you can look me up, Andrew Michael, on Facebook. Or if you guys are watching this on YouTube, which I'm assuming most of you are, you can just comment there on the YouTube page. So been a bit of an active night. What I'll do right now is kind of update you on the weather. So we had some strong storms, very strong winds with a storm that went through Jeffersonville. All I know right now is that they've said that there was wind damage. They didn't say it's straight line winds. They didn't say it was tornado. I did hear that it looked like, according to someone who's not trained meteorologically at all, said it looked like the soybeans had some bit of a swirl to them. So it'll be interesting when they take a look at that. So here's what I'm looking at. I'm going to flip this around and show you guys. So we've got several flood advisories, and that's what the green outline is. You guys are looking at a computer. So all of these green boxes that you see, like right here, also here, and then also in Muskingum County, flood advisories where they've seen a lot of rain. Northern Hocking County there in particular has seen a lot of rain, and they're getting ready to get hit hard again. So we're tracking this rain. It's slowly moving its way out of here. The one thing I can tell you, the lightning tracker, the strikes up there, that has drastically dropped. We were over 2,000 in 15 minutes earlier, so we've seen that drastically drop. So that's good news for us. At least we're seeing the lightning back off just a bit. So yeah, this is all driven by you guys. So you guys can leave your questions. I will be answering them. As long as we have questions coming in, we'll continue doing the live chat. I'm hoping I can get a rainbow on the tower cam tonight. So I'm not sure who this is. Okay, Crafty asking, are there any strong storms tomorrow night? So what we're looking at, and I'll show you guys a map real quick so that way you can see, and I like Weather Underground for this as far as just to show you guys what we're looking at. There's two cold fronts. Cold front 1 is moving through right now, and that's why the northern part of the viewing area does not have any temperature wind. The northern part of the viewing area does not have any rain because the cold fronts came through and it stabilized the atmosphere, so there's not as much turbulence in the atmosphere. So I want to flip this over and show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So here, one second. All right, so here's what we're looking at. So notice the winds here. We've got winds generally coming out of, and they're very light. So southwest, southwest, and then they start to switch a little bit more westward, northwest, 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 northwest. And that's where the cold front is. So it's stabilized the atmosphere anywhere behind that. So if you live up to the north here, Marion County, Crawford County, Harding County, you're basically done with any chance for rain for the day today. But as we widen this out, there's a second cold front, and that's what's on the way tomorrow. And I'll show you here. And this has only triggered just a few showers, maybe a couple of rumbles of thunder here in northern Illinois, and that's what's on the way for tomorrow. So kind of a 1-2 punch with the cold air, and that's what will really help to cool things off for us. The first one will start the cool down process, then the second one will really just help punch in that cool air behind us. So as far as chances for severe and strong storms tomorrow, I don't expect to see anything like what we have today. The air will be drier. We will not be as hot, so there's not as much instability in the atmosphere, and those two things alone will help to cut down on the chance for severe weather tomorrow. So Bradley asking, what is it looking like for July 26th? So that would be in 2 weeks. To be honest, Bradley, I would have to say probably warm with a chance of thunderstorms, and I think that's a pretty good forecast for 2 weeks out. All right, so L. Crafty asking, how many cups of coffee have you had in the past 24 hours? So last night when I was here, I had 2, and granted, it is this size. That's not a huge one, but I've had 2 yesterday. This morning, I think I may have had like 2.5, and I've only had 1 today. So add that up. What is that? 5.5, 6 cups maybe? Not maybe a full pot in the last 24 hours. Every time I go home, I just pass out like boom, just asleep instantly. So Pedro asking, is there more rain today or is that it? So I just kind of showed you there behind that cold front. If you're behind the cold front, you're done with the rain today. If you're out ahead of that, you still see some rain popping up ahead of it, but most of it is moving its way into southeastern Ohio and quieting down. Peter saying, I feel bad. You've been at work for 22 hours. I did get to go home and take a quick 90-minute nap between the shifts, so that's nice. It's Noah. LK Crafty is Noah. Pedro asking, how is this week looking like? This week we are dealing with a big cool down for the middle of the week, highs in the low 70s, and it's going to feel really comfortable as we head into the middle of the week. All right, so I'm going to check out Twitter, see if we have any questions coming in on there. It looks like we have several questions. All right, so question number 1. That was pretty cool, Rainbow. Let me tweet that. So Randy Drury asking, how much money have pools lost this summer? That's a good question. I don't know any numbers on that. I don't run any pools. I'm guessing not a whole lot. It's still been fairly warm. I went to the pool yesterday morning, and there was nobody there. Granted, it was in my complex, but that was kind of crazy. All right, so Austin Lewis asking, hey, Andrew, is the cold snap, this is on Twitter, is the cold snap part of the polar vortex? I heard discussion that it is, and it is not. Hashtag OhioWX. So polar vortex is the air. Is this dry? No. Trying to make sure this is dry. All right, think of this as like the globe. So this is the North Pole. Polar vortex is the wind at the far North Pole just spinning around. It's a vortex. It's just cold air spinning around up at the northern part of the globe and the southern part of the globe. So what happens is occasionally you have strong cold fronts. It kicks out some of that cold air, and a little part of it breaks off. We don't see the polar vortex. We've never seen the polar vortex. All we saw was some of that cold air with a strong cold front pushing itself down here into central Ohio and Canada, the plains. And the reason that people call it a polar vortex, it's just what everyone wants to talk about. We don't see it. We've never seen the polar vortex here in Ohio, maybe when there were saber-toothed tigers. But what we're seeing is just part of the cold air breaking off of it and just kind of a cool pocket of air making its way down. So as far as it being the polar vortex, if you want to call it that, you can, but it's not the polar vortex. It's just part of the cold air kind of breaking off and coming down our way. It's kind of like trying to think of a good analogy. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good analogy. I can't really think of anything. If I think of a good analogy, I'll let you know. All right, so another question coming on here. Have not had a drop here in Logan County. Are we getting anything out of the storm? The answer to Ron Walls is no. So Logan County will be staying dry. I don't know if he's watching this or not. We'll be staying dry. So yeah, no rain unfortunately for Logan County. You're gonna show my picture tonight? Not quite sure, Dylan. we've got a lot of really great photos. I had a really great photo of some lightning sent in earlier, and then we've obviously have a lot of the damage. I'm not sure if you guys had seen this. Let me scroll down here, actually. Let's scroll down over here. So I'm going to blow this up and show you guys this big screen. Treat pick. So here's some damage, and I'll show you guys, like I said. Let me flip the camera around so that way you guys can see it. So here's damage just outside of Jeffersonville. You notice these mobile homes flipped over. Apparently, I think it's this mobile home here was tossed about 300 yards. There's a golf cart out in the middle of the soybean field. So we have a crew down there looking at this damage in Jeffersonville and knocked over a lot of power lines onto I-71. I-71 has been shut down for several hours. The last I heard is that it is open and moving slowly now, but very strong winds. And again, they haven't quite determined whether it was a tornado, because some people said they noticed some swirling in the soybeans, and these are people that have no meteorological background. So they probably will go out and survey it tomorrow to take a look at it, if not tonight, because it's right up the street from where the National Weather Service office is. All right. So Buckeye Squadron, I think this is the same guy. What can you tell us about HAARP and weather modification? As far as I know, honestly, I've never taken a class on HAARP. The only thing I've ever heard about or read about is online conspiracy theorists. So, I mean, as far as any proof behind it, I don't know of any proof behind it. I don't know. In my opinion, the atmosphere, so here's my analogy. So the atmosphere is all water vapor. That's all it is. So it's kind of like the oceans, but in the air and a little easier to move. But still, I mean, it's, as you guys know, when the winds are out there blowing, it's going to change it a lot. So as far as the question about HAARP, I can't see any one program or any concept that could drastically alter the atmosphere. It's possible, but all I've ever seen is conspiracy theorists. I have never had any class or background education in it, so all I know is what you can find on the internet, and there's a lot of stuff on the internet. So leave it at that, I guess. So Noah asking, what does Thursday through Saturday look like? Thursday through Saturday, Thursday, Friday look really nice, about 80 degrees for the high both days. Saturday, maybe a few showers there. Couple more months till snow season, just saying from Bradley. Yep, it's not too long. We'll be back in the swing of things, and winter will be returning. People get mad at you if you say the word flurries. Craziness. All right, so let's see here. I'm checking out the ABC6 page again, seeing if there's any other new questions. All right, so a couple questions on here. Polar vortex was HAARP created. Read up on it. Weather modification, Britton George. I'm guessing Britton George runs HAARP. That's my guess. What is the latest date in the season in Ohio a tornado hit? It's a good question. Let's look that up real quick. So this website will take you back all the way to, I think, 1954, I believe. So what do I have up? Facebook right now? All right, so Facebook. Let's go over here. I'll leave that up. So tornado history project. I believe it's sometime in December. I'm not positive on that. So state, Ohio. We'll just search all of the state, Fujita scale. It's going to search everything. Actually, what we could do is do month December. So let's go month December, search Ohio, because otherwise we're looking at like, yeah. So there have been 3 tornadoes in December in Ohio. They were all in the same storm system. So it looks like we had the 23rd through the 26th. There was the same storm system that was kind of around then. So that was back in 1973. So there you go. The most recent, I guess not most recent, there have been tornadoes in December. So, all right, so let's flip this back. Boom. All right, so let's see. There was another question on my Facebook page. Oh, I already answered that one. Checking to see if there's any other questions. Questions here. Andrew, is the cooldown going to last? It's lasting because I can't wait. The cooldown. Leslie Klein asking Andrew, this cooldown, how long is it lasting? Because I can't wait. It'll be around. It depends on what you consider a cooldown. If 80 for the high is a cooldown, then we'll have about 5 days where it'll be cool. Highs in the 70s for at least 3 days this week, so be around for a couple of days at least. Wish I could have seen that double rainbow that Kevin was talking about. I will be at Fayette County Fairgrounds tomorrow at 2. How will the weather be like in Courthouse? We are looking at, again, scattered showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. I think more showers than thunderstorms. Sun's coming out. I'm hoping I can get a rainbow. But tomorrow we are not expecting the severe storms or strong storms like we had seen today, so that's a good question. I think that we'll see the scattered storms into the afternoons, but I wouldn't change your plans tomorrow. I think that today is going to be a much wetter day than what tomorrow will be. With cold front number 1 coming through again, it'll dry us out, it'll cool us off a little bit, but the second cold front will push that even cooler. All right, so let's go check out my Facebook page real quick. Actually, let's check out Twitter first. All right, I do not see any other new questions coming in on Twitter. So again, if you guys want to ask me questions, you guys can do that on Twitter using hashtag OhioWX, or you can just tweet me at AndrewWSYX6. I'm looking at our tower cam. The sun's coming up. I can see it reflecting off some of the buildings. But what I do not see is I do not see a rainbow anywhere. So no rainbows on our tower cam. I was hoping there was going to be one because we just had the showers move out of downtown. Oh well, you win some, you lose some. Rainbows are rare, so when you see one, appreciate it. I gotta go back to my page. All right, so let's check out my page. Looks like I have a couple posts on there. Answer some of those. All right, any questions coming in on here? Would you be mad if they made you work the morning shift? Well, there's 2 meteorologists on the morning shift, so they'll be calling one of them before they would me. So if it would happen, I'd be indifferent. Hopefully I would be able to get a little sleep. I'm gonna go home and get to sleep right away. All right, so Buckeye Squadron asking, do you know anything about chemtrails? I know that when planes are flying, think of your car. This isn't even an analogy. This is a straight comparison. Think of your car in the winter and how when it's going, you have the cloud, you have the condensation behind it when your cars are driving around in the winter. If you don't believe me, I can show you a video of it next week. When cars are sitting there in the winter, you notice the heat and the condensation of all the heat being pushed out of the car. It condenses into a small cloud. Of course, it quickly dissipates when you're driving, but that's exactly what you're seeing with the contrails, not chemtrails, contrails in the atmosphere. When the airplanes, they're shooting out air at several hundred, probably several thousand, no, not even 1,000 degrees, but they're shooting out all this hot air through the jets, and all it is condensing. And the reason you see it in the evening a little bit more than during the day, or you see it during the colder time periods, is because it's colder in the atmosphere, it's condensing a little bit more. So as far as chemtrails, I've never seen any verified backing. I've never heard anyone say, yes, I've done this before, because someone would have said I've done that before. So yeah, I've seen contrails, never seen chemtrails. But good, thanks for the question, Buckeye Squadron. Pedro asking, this is another long one out, how will July 23rd through August look like for the Ohio State Fair? Hot and a chance for thunderstorms. Hailing taxis from Noah. Let's see if there's any other questions. What's worse than raining cats and dogs? Oh, I get it. He's telling jokes. Hailing taxis. That's hilarious. That's hilarious, Noah. That's a good joke, actually. I might have to use that in my school talks. All right, so let's check out my Facebook page once again, see if there's any other new questions coming in on there. But again, if you guys have any questions, keep them coming, because that's you guys are the one that feeds this. You guys asking the questions, what keeps me around answering these for you. And I appreciate everyone swinging by. Even the conspiracy theorists. In your years working in weather, what weather even to you remember? What weather even to you remember the most? I remember, and only because I lived an hour away from the station. I remembered when I was working in Dayton, but I was living in Sydney, Ohio, which is about 55 minutes north of the station. And I would go out and report all the time out by myself, and I remember going out one time, and we had 3-foot drifts, and I was driving around my truck. I had my Silverado at the time, and I was using that to drive around. But I remember the camera tipping over. The wind was blowing so hard, and I was out all by myself, and I remember the camera tipping over when I was finishing my report, and I grabbed the tripod and put it back down on all 3 legs. But CNN ended up using that video later on that day, just out there. It was nasty weather. I think I only remember that because I spent probably a good 2 or 3 weeks just driving around Western Ohio, doing reports from all the little towns, sending the video back through the internet, driving to the next town, doing the same thing. Be like, oh, I'm here in Ansonia, or I'm here in Troy or Piqua, showing what it looked like there. So that was a lot of fun. I really missed that. That was fun back in Western Ohio. All right, Stephanie Davis asking that question there. So let's go back here. I want to. All right, so Rainbow, what is the latest? So yep. Trying to see here if there's any other new questions coming in. A lot of pictures of rainbows today. You guys have all been lucky. I've been stuck here in the studio and I have not seen a rainbow yet today. And I don't think I'm going to now. Sun's getting too low at an angle for the tower to be up higher. That was me. The storm was very intense. My wife asked if we were in a tornado, but I didn't see any rotation. Jason Robinson. I'm not quite sure, Jason. What is this in response to? Oh, power lines down. Jason's the one that reported the power lines down across 71. Yeah, that was crazy. He said the storm was very intense. My wife asked if we were in a tornado, but I didn't see any rotation. All right, don't see any other new questions coming in, please. Can't promise anything, Dylan. Sorry. We've got other photos tonight, and we're packed for news, so we'll see. I'm not going to say one thing one way or the other. All right, any other new questions coming in? Event? Yeah, weather event. I would just say just the really cold temperatures, just reporting and all of that for several days. All right, let's go back here and check out Google Hangouts. Tyler Bear, don't see any other new questions there. Let me go check out the stream real quick, see if there's any other questions. If not, we'll probably be ending this shortly. Follow rainbows, get to the gold. Yep, if I only could. You never can get to the end of the rainbow. What's the highest wind gust ever recorded in Ohio? That is a very good question. I do not know the answer to that, and I'm not sure. Probably with one of the tornadoes, honestly. That was probably the strongest wind ever recorded. So it would have been, let's do all, Vegeta, 5, all. And so this would be table, damage, life, lawn, state number, fatalities, width, length, Vegeta. It doesn't show the winds with these. Probably one of the EF5 tornadoes that affected Ohio, which there's been 4 EF or 4 F5 tornadoes that have hit Ohio ever, and since at least the 50s. All right, so let's check this out. Let's see if there's any other questions. 8:57, 58. Come on your photo. Stephanie Brez. 2 minutes ago. Cool. All right, so yeah, I don't see any other new questions coming in. Pedro asking, how much rain did we get today? That all depends on where you lived. Out at the airport officially. Actually, I have the map here. 24-hour precip. Grove City saw an inch. Lancaster saw an inch. Columbus saw 0.18. So not even a quarter of an inch in Columbus. Dublin saw a third of an inch. Newark saw 4/10. So really depending on where you live. South of I-70 saw the most rain today for sure. But obviously not much at the airport compared to some other places. Blake asking, what is an advisory compared to a watch or warning? An advisory means that there's flooding like on the roadways. So they notice that there's water standing on the sides of the roads, that it's pooling up a little bit more than normal. Flood warning is when they have the river levels. So there's river gauges, and it means when the river comes above the flood stage and you have a flood warning. A watch just means watch out for it. We may be dealing with the water getting to that flood stage with the rivers. I encourage you to read up on Dr. Ben Livingston and Weaponized Weather Andrew. Thanks for answering my questions. No problem. What is an anticyclone? Basically just means spinning in the opposite direction, normally what they would in the hemisphere. So it's spinning in the northern hemisphere, it would be spinning counterclockwise because low pressure spins clockwise. Or I'm sorry, no, the other way around. It would be spinning clockwise because low pressure spins counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere. You keep skipping over my question. Just answered it there for you, Blake. Could Ohio see a derecho this year? Pedro, derechos are very rare. They the one that we just had was the first one that I've ever seen living here in Ohio. So they don't happen very often. So as far as will we see another one this year? It's possible. Not very likely, though. All right, I'm going to check Twitter one more time. Dylan saying that it's pooling down rain in Zanesville. All right, I am not seeing anything here. Let me flip this back over real quick. All right, not seeing any other new questions, so I am going to probably jump off of here. I'm going to check the YouTube page one more time. Don't see anything new. Cool. So again, thanks everyone swinging on by. I appreciate everyone bringing their questions tonight. And I will see you guys same place, same time, same place next week on YouTube here. I'm getting a little delirious. I need to go get more coffee. But again, thanks everyone bringing in all the questions. One final question from Noah real quick. What is an anvil cloud? That's when you see the thunderheads like billowing up, and then they kind of like break out from the top because that's when they reach the level that the air parcels will not raise any higher. So that's what an anvil is. It's the top where it starts to curve out. So again, thanks everyone swinging on by. I'll post the link on my YouTube page, which is youtube.com/AndrewWSYX6, and I will see you guys. There's a couple new questions. I hate this. Why they start naming winter storms for? Why are they naming winter storms? Not the National Weather Service. You guys try to throw all these questions in real quick. When I try to end it, you guys don't have the questions earlier. So the Weather Channel names winter storms. It is the National Weather Service, the ones who send up the weather balloons and everything. They do not adhere to this naming of the storms because it's just a public. It's just a PR move. It's just them trying to say, I named this storm or whatnot. What caused derechos? Derechos, there's a lot of hot energy air. It forms into a line. You have the winds above the storm kind of pushing down through it, and you get that bow from the storms, and you need that to be sustained for almost 300 miles or longer with severe winds nonstop. Very unlikely normally. What's your favorite season? I would have to say fall. It's drier, colorful. I like it before it turns like all the browns and everything, but yeah. But anyways, thanks everyone swinging on by. Again, I will do the same place next week. Check out my Facebook page, check out my Twitter, and I will see you guys same place next week. Thanks for all the questions, and hope you guys all have a great week. Enjoy the cool down.